Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack your sources, get those key insights out.
Yeah, exactly.
And today we've got something really interesting you shared. It's excerpts from a YouTube transcript. Features Jack Ma, the Alibaba founder.
hmm
And this isn't your standard, like, here's how I got rich story. It feels much more, I don't know, raw, like a look inside the mindset that got him from, well, tons of rejection to building this massive global thing.
Totally. And that's our mission today, right? To really dive into the principles, the experiences he talks about, see if we can pull out a kind of blueprint.
A blueprint for what, though? Business?
Well, yeah, business, but also like personal growth, resilience, how to actually tackle those really huge goals we all have sometimes.
Okay.
So they've got this one main source, the transcript bits. Let's see what we can pull out.
All right, let's unpack it. So one of the first kind of big themes that jumps out is how much he insists success is. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's built on persistence, small steps. He really pushes back against that idea that success just, poof, happens overnight.
Right. He's super clear. It's not magic. He uses that analogy about planting a tree.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
You got to water it every single day. You might not see anything happening right away, but that consistent daily work, that's what makes it grow. It prepares the ground.
And he connects that right back to the early days of Alibaba, doesn't he?
Absolutely. They worked like crazy for years, didn't make a dime in profit.
Wow, years.
Yeah, but they stayed focused. And he looks back at that time, the hard work, building that emotional muscle, the discipline. He sees that as the essential prep work, preparing the soil, basically.
So persistence isn't just something you have or don't have.
No, he frames it like a muscle. You train it.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the stronger it gets. Any big thing, especially starting a business, it demands that kind of patience. There are no shortcuts, really.
Each little step builds that muscle.
Exactly. Even the tiny ones.
So it's less about these huge, heroic efforts and more about just showing up, doing the small things consistently. He thinks that's where real transformation comes from, over the long haul, not just bursts of energy.
Yeah, think about it. Like, what's one small thing you can do today? One more call, right? One more bit of code.
Just one more step.
Yeah, consistency beats intensity. That's his point. You're not trying to leap mountains in a day. Just take the next step.
It's a good reminder, those huge dreams, they actually live in the kind of boring daily details sometimes.
Totally. And that idea, that focus on consistent effort, it leads straight into another huge thing he talks about all the time, dealing with rejection and failure.
Man, his stories are something else. Like getting rejected by 30 jobs. Oh, okay, that's rough. But the KFC one?
Yeah.
24 people apply, he's the only one they don't hire? That's gotta sting.
Oof. Yeah. And Harvard, like 10 times.
Yeah.
Failing the university entrance exam 3 times.
These aren't small setbacks.
No, these are big no's at really important moments.
But the key is he didn't let it break him. He says it actually made him stronger.
Right? Refined him, sharpened his focus, made him more determined. He genuinely sees failure not as like the end of the road, but as part of the process, like a fire that burns away the impurities.
So every no is information.
Exactly. Feedback, a chance to learn something, improve your self-awareness. He calls rejection a redirection. It's a totally different way of looking at it, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He even tells young people, like, go look for failure early on, get comfortable with it.
Why? Because that's how you learn faster. That's how you adapt. Don't dodge the mistakes, make them learn, move on.
He says success and failure are like twins. You can't really have one without the other.
Yeah, inseparable. The real growth, the real change comes from how you handle the losses.
It's about asking those questions, right? Okay, why didn't that work? What did I learn? How can I be better tomorrow?
Yeah. Suddenly, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's like success in progress. You're just learning what you need for the win later on.
And building on that, this idea of finding value where others just see problems, his take on complaints is really unique.
Oh yeah, the gold mine thing.
Every complaint is a gold mine waiting to be dug. It sounds kind of simple, but there's a lot packed into that.
And he connects it right back to how Alibaba started. He wasn't guessing what people needed. He was out there listening.
What does him into who?
Small business owners in China, they were frustrated. They wanted to sell things to the world, but couldn't. They had no access. That was the pain point.
And that complaint, that specific frustration.
That's what sparked the whole idea. Build like a digital bridge for them. While everyone else is chasing the big companies, he saw the opportunity in the complaints of the small players.
So innovation doesn't come from being comfortable.
No, he says it comes from pain, frustration, discomfort. Something makes you say, this is broken. Someone needs to fix this.
And then the big step.
Deciding you're going to be that someone.
And that means changing yourself too, right? Not just the problem, that quote.
If you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. Classic. He had to adapt his whole approach, his mindset, to be the solution.
Which must have taken courage, especially back then. Using the internet in 90s China for e-commerce, people thought he was nuts.
Totally nuts. But he frames that skill, tuning complaints into real opportunities, as super valuable. It pushes you to be creative, builds resilience, even makes you grateful for finding problems worth solving.
Well, everyone else is just complaining.
You're building the answer. And it starts with listening. Really listening. Stop trying to sound smart. Just hear what people are actually saying. The insights are hidden in there.
Every pain point is a map. Every complaint a clue.
Yeah, he calls it strategic sensitivity. Noticing where other people give up, because that's where the real need is.
So, practical tip, next time someone complains.
Don't just brush it off. Write it down. Think about it. Ask why. Complaints are like compasses for creative minds. They point the way.
Okay, speaking of tricky situations, competitors, his view is also pretty different.
Oh yeah, not enemies at all. Teachers.
He really saw them that way.
Totally. He didn't try to avoid them or crush them. He saw them as like free training programs, as best consultants.
Because they force you to improve.
Exactly. They make you sharper, faster, more innovative. He literally says, if you want to grow faster, study your competition.
Hating them is just wasted energy.
Complete waste. Observe them. Learn from them. What are they doing better? Where are they messing up so you don't have to? That's valuable intel, right? Market intelligence on a silver platter, he calls it.
He actually told his team, they don't charge you, they challenge you.
Yeah, and that challenge is good. It drives better habits, constant improvement.
But surely there were times when competitors were winning. That must hurt.
Oh, absolutely. Painful moments, deals lost. But he saw those as lessons too. Eye-openers. Like unofficial mentors showing them what was possible or where they were weak. The trick was staying cool emotionally, not letting envy mess up their thinking.
Use what they do to sharpen yourself. See why something worked for them. Adapt the principle, but stay true to your own mission.
Right. Competitors are like mirrors, he says. They show you where you can get better, where your blind spots are. It's not about copying, it's about using that info to fuel your innovation.
He felt competition kept Alibaba alive.
Yeah, force them to evolve, push their limits, grow beyond what they thought they could do.
It's a growth mindset thing, isn't it? Learning from everywhere.
Exactly. So don't run from the heat. Get closer, watch, learn, sharpen your focus. It's school, not war. They might just hold the key to your next big idea.
Okay, shifting gears to the team. Building the right team. It's not just about talent, he says.
No, it's about belief. Shared dreams, that's huge for him.
He admits he made mistakes there early on.
Yeah, hiring really smart people who just didn't buy into the vision. They had the skills, the CV, but their hearts weren't in it. And that mismatch caused problems even with all their talent.
So building a great company isn't just collecting stars.
No, it's finding people who are truly aligned, who believe in the same why. That shared belief, he says, that's the true fuel of a startup.
When everyone's pulling in the same direction because they believe.
Motivation just happens, right? Self-discipline, too, because you care about the mission. Productivity flows from that shared commitment. It's about building something meaningful together.
And when things get really tough, and they always do.
It's the belief that holds you together, not the paycheck. That shared vision creates this, collective emotional intelligence, resilience for the long run.
He told his early team, we are not here to survive. We are here to inspire. That's a big shift.
Huge. It makes you think bigger than just your job title. Focus on the impact you're making for those small businesses.
And when you share that dream, individual belief multiplies.
Yeah, it becomes this unstoppable force. His advice, if you're starting something, don't just look for partners or employees. Look for believers, people who get genuinely excited about the same purpose you do.
Finding them is mission number one.
Before anything else, yeah. Find people who carry that dream with the same fire. A vision in one head is fragile. In many hearts, that's powerful.
So great companies need more than money or talent. They need that shared dream at the foundation.
That's where the lasting strength comes from, who's walking beside you.
And to get those believers, you need a big dream, a long-term vision.
Absolutely. That was critical for him. The dream wasn't just build a company.
It was helping those small businesses in China reach the world.
Yeah, even when everyone said it was impossible, That huge, outward-looking dream was their North Star, their energy.
He says dreams give life, especially when you feel like you have nothing else. When you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor.
It's your energy source, gives you purpose, keeps you anchored,
Yeah.
wakes you up with passion.
And vision is more important than resources.
He argues yes, because vision fuels belief. It turns frustration into hope. Dreaming big isn't about being arrogant. It's about getting clear. And when you dream beyond your limits, you act beyond your fears.
That story about telling the team they'd last 102 years in that tiny apartment.
Sounds crazy, right? Spanning 3 centuries. But those kinds of wild, long-term dreams, they create movements. They unlock focus, motivation.
True giants dream of impact, not just money.
Right. Money comes if you create value, but it's not the main goal. Dreaming about helping people, society, the future, that builds a legacy.
So don't shrink your vision to fit today's reality.
No, expand your mindset. Push the limits. The world needs people believing in the impossible and working to make it happen.
Thinking about the next century, not just the next quarter, that changes everything.
Totally changes how you plan, lead, measure success.
He points out how we overestimate what we can do in a year, but underestimate 10 years.
Exactly. That long view gives you clarity in the chaos.
Yeah.
Builds discipline because you know you're building something that lasts, not chasing quick wins.
It gives you resilience too, right? Staying calm when others panic.
Yeah, because you're playing a much longer game.
Yeah.
Build foundations. Don't chase trends. Focus on the customer, even if it doesn't pay off right away. You're preparing to win forever.
Building for legacy takes sacrifice, focus, consistency.
Playing the infinite game. His test was simple. Will this decision matter in 5, 10, 50 years? That long-term view, that's wisdom.
And tied right into that long view is optimism. He sees it as strategic.
Yeah, not just a personality thing, a tool, a source of hope.
He found opportunity in crises, economic collapses, deals falling through.
Yep, and he'd smile, not because he wasn't scared, but because he knew optimism was crucial for leadership.
Leaders have to light the way in the dark.
Exactly. Optimism isn't naive, it's strategic. It fuels persistence, growth, positive thinking, even when things look bad.
He kept telling the team, focus on the dream, solve real problems, don't obsess over money in tough times.
And that optimistic focus got them through stuff that would have sunk other companies. Hope is like oxygen, he says. Keeps the mind clear, focus sharp, spirit strong.
Being optimistic means seeing beyond the bad stuff.
Yeah, visualizing that better future and working towards it. In uncertain times, people need an anchor. A leader who believes in tomorrow is the best anchor.
And that optimism builds trust, gratitude, emotional intelligence in the team.
For sure. He had days he wanted to quit, like anyone.
Yeah.
But he remembered, success isn't never falling. It's always getting back up.
Hope makes you resilient, turns rejection into redirection, gives you courage to keep going.
Yeah. If times are hard, his view is, good. You're in the middle of the story. The best parts are still coming, and hope helps you write them.
So what's driving all this? The persistence, the vision, the optimism. He talks about purpose, passion, service.
That's the core fuel, he says. Building Alibaba wasn't about money for him. It was passion. Love, even. Love of helping others, solving problems for those small businesses. That was the energy.
Entrepreneurship as a mission, fueled by passion.
Exactly. That passion gets you through the late nights, the rejections, helps you get back up. Self-discipline, emotional intelligence, they're built on that
To
pattern.
be focused, grateful, aligned with the big picture, that famous priority list.
Clients first, employees second, shareholders third. Wall Street didn't love it at first.
I bet.
But he knew if they served people with heart, everything else would follow. Passion creates value. Value brings success.
He talks about needing LQ, love quotient.
Yeah, beyond IQ and EQ, the ability to care, serve, give, that creates an environment where people feel valued, trusted, and give their best.
And passion is contagious, right? Turns one person's vision into a movement.
Definitely. His advice for starting something. Don't ask, how can I make money? Ask, what do I love so much? What problem do I care so much about that I do this even if I failed?
That's where the real power comes from, the heart.
And success for him is measured by how many people you help. Working for society, making a contribution, that's the real goal. That's legacy.
Fulfillment comes from impact. Alibaba was a bridge.
Yeah, connecting people, empowering them. Serving others like that builds your own self-awareness, gives your work a deeper why.
Waking up knowing your work matters. That's powerful. Boosts everything. Productivity, gratitude, resilience.
The biggest transformation happens when your career becomes contribution. And paradoxically, the more you give, the more you grow.
Gratitude opens doors. Focusing on how can I serve aligns everything.
Yeah, the universe responds, he suggests. Passion, purpose, power come together. Yeah. His challenge: don't just build a business, build a better world. That's the only success that lasts.
And finally, he has some really direct advice for young people, especially in their 20s. Says this decade is crucial.
Super crucial. He's really practical about it.
Yeah.
Between 20 and 30, your job is to make mistakes, educational mistakes.
Learn who you are by falling down.
Exactly. Fall, fail, learn from it. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Be afraid of not growing. He says in his 20s, he had no money, connections, clear path, but he had energy and curiosity. And that was enough then.
Youth is the time for exploration, building resilience.
Yeah, the golden period. Build that mental toughness, self-discipline through experience, not comfort. That's where real empowerment comes from.
He warns against waiting for the perfect moment.
Because it doesn't exist. Action creates clarity. Mistakes create wisdom. You don't figure it all out first and then act.
Trying and failing teaches more than books.
Way more. Those job rejections, he reframed them. That wasn't the end. It was training ground, building the person he needed to become.
Self-improvement is lifelong, but that foundation, handling pressure, failure, adapting, gets built strongest in your 20s.
Right. So his message is clear. Use that time. Experiment. Risk. Dream big before you start putting limits on yourself. Life transformation starts when you jump in, even if you don't know the rules.
Wow. Okay, that really was a deep dive into, well, a pretty incredible mindset.
Yeah, it really is. When you trace it from the KFC rejection to Alibaba,
Yeah.
this isn't just business tactics. It feels like a masterclass in resilience purpose.
We covered a lot. That persistence through small steps, failure as feedback, competitors as teachers.
The absolute need for shared belief, that huge long-term vision driven by passion and service.
What strikes me is how he connects these almost simple ideas, listening to complaints, taking one step daily to these massive outcomes.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated conceptually, but living it is hard.
And he keeps bringing it back to the why, doesn't he? That real success isn't just about you getting rich or powerful.
No, it's about impact, contribution, building something that helps others and outlasts you.
It definitely makes you pause and think, how many gold mines are we ignoring because they just sound like complaints?
Or how do we react to competitors or failure? Are they threats or teachers?
Are we surrounding ourselves with true believers, people who share the why?
Yeah, lots to reflect on there.
So for you listening,
Huh.
What does this spark? Is there one small, consistent step you can take today towards your own vision, even if it feels kind of crazy?
Or maybe there's a challenge, a recent failure even, that you could decide right now to reframe, to see it not as a loss, but as feedback designed specifically to help you grow.